Yeah, hi everyone, welcome to Emsley Lodge for another week. Fairly quiet sort of week on the racetrack. We took old Macrobius to Caulfield on Wednesday and gave him a roll of the dice at a big prize money race, and geez, he showed plenty of cheek. He sort of loomed right up to him on the corner, and at the end of the day probably a bit of quality sort of showed up at the end, but I thought he went as good as he could possibly go, and very proud of his effort. It was great. Might even back him up on Wednesday at Geelong yet, I don't know. We'll just see how he sort of comes through the race. Okay, now runners this week. We'll start off at Warrnambool on Friday. Now, MANNZA, he gets his chance down there. It's a reasonably strong race, probably 3 in it that go okay, but don't worry, he goes okay as well. Drawn barrier 1, 1700, big track for a big, long striding horse like him. I just reckon from barrier 1 with a good beginning horse, you sort of tend to jump out and sort of just ease your way around that first corner, and then the sort of pressure comes into the race. And I reckon you can get the first 300 or 400 sort of really easy time of it, and then have a good kick. I've won quite a few races down there at Warrnambool at that 1700 metre start just by drawing a good gate and sort of not doing a lot of work early. So he sort of gets his chance. He's a big sort of raw green horse. Every time he goes to the races, he's just going to improve. So I just reckon it's the right sort of race and the right sort of track for him. So no doubt he'll go really well. Duke of Oz, now he gets his chance. I cannot possibly get him going any better if he doesn't fire on Friday. I don't know what to do with him because he's in very good condition. He's very sound. His work's good. He looks an absolute picture. So he'll go as good as he can possibly go. And if he does that, he'll be all over this sort of race at big odds. I'm absolutely scratching my head with that horse because I thought he'd be a sort of midweek sort of city grade horse this preparation, but he just hasn't come up at all. He's probably run 1 or 2 good races, but yeah, I'm not too sure what's going on there. But I can't get the horse in any better condition than what he is on Friday. Okay, now Saturday we head off to Avoca Cup Day Saturday. Unfortunately, I haven't got to run him in the Cup. I was going to run SAKHEE'S Soldier there, and he just got 63 kilos, so I opted to take him to Horsham on Sunday instead. But Prince Ziggy will go around there now. That looks the perfect sort of track for him, doesn't it? 1800 should suit. We'll punch out and go forward again. Young Zach Spain's riding him, and a very good young rider, this kid. So he sort of gets his chance back in that same sort of grade that he won in, and it's a real sort of on-speed sort of track. So ideally he sort of bounces and sits outside the leader and will get every chance. Okay, Saturday we'll also go to Bendigo. Now I've got Lorenzetti there. Unfortunately he's drawn a bad gate, so tactics are going to be interesting. We might have to jump out and go forward rather than sort of grab and hold him and riding him backwards like a staying horse. I'm not sure. I'll have a good talk to Mike about that. In a stride, I think he's drawn 16 of 16 and sort of front-running horse. They tend to use a bit of petrol, but it is Bendigo, so they jump out right at the top of the straight, so we might dig him out, and he's got plenty of time to sort of get across and get outside the leader, so that shouldn't be much of a drama. Chopsticks. Chopsticks is he's going okay. He just needs to win another race, that horse, and 58 grade is his sort of grade. Coming out of that big long shoot there at Bendigo, he should be able to jump, get a bit of cover, wait and be patient and be really strong late. So all 3 horses are real good chances. They just need a bit of luck, and certainly drawing the outside Garrier and Lorenzetti and in the stride doesn't help. On Sunday, we'll head off to Horsham Cup Day, and SAKHEE'S Soldier will run in the Horsham Cup. He's been getting a lot of weight in lesser grade races, and so I'm just going to have to run him in sort of a couple of these country cups where he gets in okay in the weights. When I take him to town, he's just been getting sort of really easily beaten in real top company, so he just needs to take a little step backwards. Horsham, I don't know if it'll really suit him. It's a red-hot front-running track, so it just all depends on what it's like. But no doubt Bettino and those sort of horses will bowl along and set up a good tempo, so we certainly don't want to be giving him too much start, so hopefully he can draw a nice gate. I'll actually put blinkers on him to try and put him a bit more closer in the run. So if we can be running 4th or 5th rather than 8th or 9th and be sort of right on their heels straightening, hopefully he can hold his ground and maybe run into some prize money. And on Wednesday, all roads lead to Geelong Cup Day, and fantastic. Really interesting to see the Cup field this week, wasn't it? A lot of the internationals are talking about going through Geelong. As far as us, I'll probably have Moot running. Now, I just want to try and ride Moot a bit differently. We've been sort of punching him out going forward, and he's been really weak late. I just had a little foot problem with him the last couple of weeks, and he's had a little bit of time off work. So I'm going to keep him at the 1200 metres, but we're going to ride him off the speed and have him hitting the line. And then once he learns to do that, we'll then step him up a little bit in distance. But it's one of those, a bit of a suck it and see. Being on Geelong Cup Day, there should be a really strong field, should be really good tempo in the race, and we might be able to just bury him back in the field or something, and have him hitting the line rather than sort of up on the speed and being weak. As I said earlier, I might back Macrobius up now. This horse's form is pretty good over the sort of mile plus. and with the 2,000 metre run under his belt, and it was a tough 2,000 metre race, back him up in a week's time. An older horse like that really can suit that sort of stuff. So I contemplated putting blinkers back on him, but I don't think we did. I think we can just ride him how we rode him the other day, and I reckon he'll just really appreciate the quick backup. And also Mutanaaseq in the Geelong Classic. I thought he went fair the other day. He probably, any sort of luck in running at all, he probably finishes right next to the winner. Whether that's good enough to go into to be competitive in one of these good staying 3-year-old races, but I think he's going to get plenty of chances to run in open maidens. I don't know how many chances he's going to get to run against his own age over this sort of distance. So we're going to have a roll of the dice to run him in the Geelong Classic and see how he goes. But he's certainly come through the run okay. I'm just not sure whether he's all there yet. He's an absolute baby, this horse. So whether he's up to this, whether it's all a bit too much for him, this preparation, I'm not sure. But he's a nice, healthy, sound horse, and it's probably more than half the horses in the field. So fingers crossed, see how he goes. So yeah, it's Geelong Cup day on Wednesday.
G'day guys, welcome to Around the Stables, back this week, and we're back with a horse called Humzz. He had his first prep last time in, but just sort of had to put him out in a few little immaturity things, but he's come back bigger and stronger. He's had one trial at Geelong Synthetic, which he tried up nicely. He's actually a Loof's full brother, but as you can probably see, they're probably two completely different horses. Loof's sort of big, strong horse, where he's short, stocky horse. But yeah, no, he's tried up well, and he'll have another jump out at the farm this weekend. And yeah, depending on how he trials up, how he jumps out and pulls up, whether we need to give him another trial, but I'd say he'd probably be at the races within a couple of weeks.
Hi guys, I've got a couple of really nice rides that I'm looking forward to in the coming week. We're off to Moot today for one on Cup Day there. Friday night at Pakenham under lights, we've got a really nice ride in a horse called Royal Request, who actually won last year's Darwin Cup and ran 4th in it this year, so he's still going well. He's carrying a big weight, but should run well. On Saturday we're off to Avoca we've got 2 rides so far, but we should hopefully pick up a few more there. And I've got one Tuesday for Heath Connor's medicine ball at Kilmore. He'll be first up and he'll be better for a bigger trip later on. So yeah, a couple of really nice rides to look forward to. We should get a good bunch of rides all up for the week ahead, and hopefully we've got a winner or two to talk about next week.
That's it for another week at Emsley Lodge. Thanks for watching. Yeah, Geelong Cup Day on Wednesday, so get along there. No doubt it'll be a good day. Got a couple of runners there. They'll all be sort of really big prices, but all horses are really, really good mix. I'm sure they'll go good. Just lovely to sort of sneak a place for the 50 to 1 shot. It'd be great. Thanks for everyone's interest in Bad Liar. There's still, I think there's still 2, maybe 3 shares available left in her. Yeah, she's an absolute beauty. Costs you nothing to come into it, and we'll just lease the horse, and we'll just race it together, and then at the end of her racing career we'll give it back to the owner. There's still a couple of shares left, so if you want to just come into a horse and race it with the stable and a couple of long-term stable clients, by all means give Janet a call at home and jump straight in. But we're going to bring her into work on Monday, so get involved as soon as you can. Until next week, see you later.
The champ's back, and that's happy trails. If he's given a good ride, I think you'll find he'll salute. To the Caulfield Guineas, cut it, Rob. Hang on. This circus is still continuing.